Rolling with Nat 20, I'm Nat 20, and this is For the King. This is a roguelike RPG board game, and I'm extremely excited because I've been waiting a long time for a game to come out like this. I love board games, I love RPGs, and I love roguelikes, and I've often thought about what something like this would look like, and this is basically what I hoped for when I thought of it, so I'm extremely happy. Now, I say roguelike, and it's more of a roguelite. There's a lore store here where there are various things that can be bought using lore points won through the campaign, and you can add in character classes, items, encounters, locations that will show up in the game that didn't show up previously. So it does have roguelite elements in which play affects subsequent plays on a lighter level. However, it is at its base just a really good roguelike RPG with a board game aesthetic. And right now there's only the one adventure, For the King, but eventually there's going to be the dungeon crawl, and I imagine with this list more adventures to add to the replayability. It's also multiplayer, both online and local, up to 3 players. However, if you play by yourself, you are going to be playing 3 characters. And if you play with 2 people, somebody's got to play 2 characters, as every campaign has 3 heroes going out to try to save the kingdom. The battle against chaos in a story-driven adventure as you attempt to solve the king's murder and restore order to the land. We will play on the apprentice difficulty because it is likely we're going to end up playing multiple scenarios with multiple team setups, and if you have any interest in me potentially naming any of the characters in our team after you, let me know. In the meantime, I've already decided that we're going to go with a scholar, a hunter, and a blacksmith. The only other class that you really start off with is the minstrel, which could be cool, but I like my setup of scholar, hunter, blacksmith, and we can change it up and buy more classes as we go on. And because I thought the scholar was kind of like a doctor, I named him Doc. Hunter's obviously Robin Hood. And the blacksmith, the class of blacksmith is kind of like a tank warrior, and I just decided to name him Smith. But let's I wonder if I can change names later. Probably not. We'll just go with this for now. Good King Bronner has been slain. The once peaceful kingdom of Fahrul is being corrupted by wild chaos energy and ravaged by monsters and bandits. The grieving Queen Rosamond has called for Fahrul's ordinary citizens to search the land for the king's murderer and the source of the chaos energy. The tale now begins in the Guardian Forest, where there have been rumors of suspicious activity and sinister strangers in the woods. 3 would-be heroes meet in Oriton to begin their quest. Doc, Hood, and Smith. We're going to enable helpers, although I have put in 3 or 4 hours of gameplay into this, both to test out the video quality and everything, and to have an understanding of gameplay, because this is the type of game where there's a lot of things going on, and it's important, at least to me, to know what's going on so I can share it with you rather than going in blindly and being very confused. So there's a lot of stuff in this HUD, but fear not, I understand all of it, and I will go through it step by step and make things known. But first, the wizard Vexer vanishes, and then my own husband was slain in his place. You may be the last hope of Fahrul. Seek out Hildenbrandt and Woodsmoke. You will be told how to best aid our efforts. Your quest has begun. Strive against this chaos, lest our realm be consumed by it. So, the world is randomly generated every time, but there are some set pieces, like in the For the King scenario. You always start out in Orton, you always got to go to Woodsmoke, but it changes out. Like, Orton's never been in a peninsula for me before, and that's rather interesting. So, to start, movement points determine how far you can travel and are gained by testing your quickness stat. The amount of slots tested depend on terrain, weather, and buffs. Understood. So as you saw, 2 of those were golden. Wish it was kind of hang there. Next time somebody moves, I'll explain that a little better. But we can use our 5 movement points that we got to move up to 5 spaces, and it's not for the group, it is just for Doc. And I could go over here and battle this dire crow swarm, but you can battle with your friends, and as you see these red hexes around this dire crow swarm, that indicates all of the nearby surrounding areas that will be incorporated into the fight. And since neither Hood nor Smith are standing in there, if I were to bring Doc over there, he would be in that fight alone. That being said, with what Doc has, that might not be the worst thing in the world. Because he does have a surge and area blast, but it probably won't do enough damage to murder a bunch of crows in one hit. There's a boat dock over here where I could buy a boat, but that's rather expensive. There's also a kraken that would attack me, and I'm willing to bet that I'm going to need to buy a boat later. Now, I can go to this stone hero statue, tribute, and get full focus and 12 XP. Focus points are used to get a guarantee roll for a die, or I can also use them here for extra movement points, which could be kind of silly, but might be what I end up doing. I don't think so. I could use all of my movement points, full up on focus, and then have a good long run of scouting. Over here we have a sanctum. Now, sanctrums would go in this slot. Every character can pray to one sanctum and have a god be protecting them. They get a buff, and if you buff at this one, you get +5 evasion and ambush immunity. And if you ever die, the final blow will not do damage to you. It will instead break the sanctum and you will lose that buff, but you will survive the attack. So they can be quite helpful. Also, when you pray to them, they give you a full heal, so I like to hold on to them at least a little bit so that they're not exactly wasted. Or not wasted, but I get the most bang for my buck. Now, if I end my turn with movement, I do convert the movement points into health as healing, but I don't necessarily need the healing. I do suppose that if I wait right here, even though I'm just kind of walking back and forth now, that if I do decide to fight these crows, I would be incorporated into that fight. So we'll end the turn here. Now, before clicking, we'll discuss what happens here a little more. So, 5 dice get to be rolled for movement. As you see, these first 2 are golden. That means that they are guaranteed successes. I'm guaranteed at least 2 movement, so really only 3 dice are being rolled to see if I succeed or not. Now, how many sides is this dice? It's more of a percentile. And as you see this symbol in the center, that represents one of the symbols on our character, in this case speed. The percentile is down here. That 83 means there's an 83% chance every time I roll a speed die that I'll succeed. It's pretty simple. That's how all of the base stats work. Then you have a few other stats down here. This represents your level, which will increase and make you stronger as you go on. All 3 of these are your defenses, your armor, which blocks physical damage, resistance blocks magical damage, and your evasion is your percent dodge chance. And you have your pipe level, because in this game, all of the herbs are not used in potions or applied directly, they are smoked through a pipe, and as you increase your pipe, the herbs become more potent. Just a fun little aesthetic thing in this. And I'll step over here. Ooh, there's some cards. A game of cards with some talent. Your talent, you're the least talented, but everybody's talent is pretty much the same. So I might as well do a roll and try to get you some money rather than, well, I don't know, actually. Smith is going to walk right over here if we fight those guys, and Smith has a better chance at talent. So let's hold you off and let Smith walk over and do this game of chance. Sometimes I forget that I have to click there to make the turn move on. Oh, but you found a dead adventure. See, as you're walking by, things can spawn that you didn't see before, adding to the element of surprise. It's not always good stuff like a game of cards that's kind of a dice roll of whether it's good or not, or a dead adventure, which is free loot. Sometimes you end up getting an ambush. Creates a magic portal at your current location to a destination of your choosing within a small radius. Interesting. Alright. Get you 12 gold by being very talented. And let's fight us some crows. Friends or foes highlighted in text join the combat. Ambush an enemy to isolate them in combat and gain the initiative, or sneak past them to avoid it. So when you first get into combat, you do have options. What it explained is I can use ambush, which rolls off of my character's awareness. And if I get a success, then I don't fight all three of these monsters, the crow and the two question marks, which, based on this being an enemy swarm, I imagine to be two other crows. And I would get the first attack. But if I fail, then they would get the first attack as my punishment. I could also sneak using my speed and walk through the tile without battling the creature at all. Never actually done that one because I don't really like running away. I like fighting things. But perhaps there will be an enemy that we cannot fight. Now in battle, each action slot tests one of the 7 stats. The higher stat, the better chance of success. That's basically just explaining what I explained in the movement with this. Every one of the attacks you have will be based off of a different slot. So Hood, his attacks with his bow are based off of his awareness. And he has 2 attacks with this particular bow. He's got his regular shot, which gives him an 83% chance on every die roll to hit. And if he hits with all of them, he does 8 physical damage. Unless he crits or something. Then there's the sniper shot, which for a penalty of 10% accuracy on each dice roll, in the event that I get all 3 of them, which is a 39% chance, I would ignore armor. You can tell armor based on the health bars of enemies, and none of these enemies have armor, so I don't need to do that. We will instead be shooting you. Called shot gives you some extra stuff. I believe called shot makes it a crit if it hits. Oh man, you stole my tinder pouch. So some enemies can steal things, and as you saw when the enemy rolled dice, you instead of it being stats, it was more based on what the enemy was doing. One of them were some claw marks that were representative of the crow kind of attacking with its claws, and one of them was an item bag being yoinked away, which is representative of it stealing my tinder bag. So then when we use Doc, he rolls off of his intelligence, and he has his attack that can attack all of the enemies for reduced damage, or reduced damage and reduced accuracy, or he can attack one person at his normal accuracy, and he just so happens to have a bonus on that if he gets a perfect, it ignores resistance. Luckily none of these guys have resistance, but he'll still need the perfect in order to kill it. Boom! Lastly, we have Smith, who has a shield, so he also has the ability to use his toughness to draw some attention so that people focus on him. He has his standard attack, which has more dice rolls, which has some benefits and negatives. More dice rolls means that there's more chances to fail, so you're less likely to get a perfect, but also less chances to get a perfect fail, meaning that you're more likely to at least shave off some damage. Also, some weapons do have negative effects if you perfect fail or crit fail. And then he also has this attack, which does splash damage, doing damage to nearby foes if it ends up getting a perfect. But we don't need that. We can just smash him with our hammer and get lucky and crit him. Get some experience. Get that tinder pouch back that he stole. Share the money. And a teleport scroll. We'll give that to our most intelligent cat. Some lockpicks for Hood. And now that guy's taken care of. We could go to Woodsmoke to deal with art issues. I did forget to do something at town, and I am kicking myself. Alright, Doc. Where shall you go? You can check out this question mark thing. But I kind of want to send you back to town. You know what? Fight this forest nibbler. It ambushed us, but we get everybody in the combat, so Let's just battle it. This is actually my first Forest Nibbler, despite the little bit I've played. This is explaining that in the middle of combat, I can use my right click to use a focus and guarantee that one of those is going to be successful. Also, by using focus, as you notice, that per slot accuracy increases little by little. So if I ever really need something to roll well, I can focus. But I can also use focus in situations like that card game that I performed earlier on the map. Again, this guy has no defense or resistance, but we do learn he has some immunities, immune to bleeding and stun. Boom! He's gonna get one hit out on us, hopefully it's not a bad one. Just does some 6 damage, that's fine. Take an arrow, get shot, go down. Also, this game has a lot of fun animations for killing the enemies. That one wasn't particularly one of them, but does have a lot of fun animations. Alright, I can take some panics or panache or however you pronounce that. It's basically an antidote. Why don't you hold on to that, Hood? Alright, back to Orting's. I forgot a couple things. In the town there are various services that you can do. Every town has them. You can go to the inn, it ends your turn, and you get some health and some focus back. You can also meditate, does not end your turn. Pretty sure it doesn't end your turn. I suppose I could be wrong, I've never meditated. Don't believe it ends your turn, it restores all your focus. You can heal and it doesn't end your turn, and restores all your health and removes status ailments. Blessing removes curses and does not end your turn. Pipesmith upgrades your pipe and does not end your turn. There's also the market where you can find various things for sale. You can upgrade your characters with loot. You can also find loot in various scenarios out in the world. And right now we don't have a lot of money. But what I came back for is the quest board. It is important to be doing side quests in order to further yourself in the game. Now I could work towards getting a much better weapon. This might be worthwhile, getting this 16 damage hook sword to replace Smith's blacksmith hammer. It's a potential. Doing this one for 30 gold, that's not going to happen. Gold's pretty easy to come by. Doing this for 13 party experience, that's not going to happen. Party experience is pretty easy to come by. The reason that I'm being so picky, I should mention, is that you can only pick one of these quests, and to the best of my knowledge, they don't replenish. Now, it might just be that in none of my testing did I get to the point where they'd replenish, but I'm pretty sure it's one quest, one side quest per town, and then you're done. Now, I'm going to choose this Reduce Chaos quest. My sources tell me the group of cultists have been spotted in the Guardian Forest. No one is quite sure what they're up to, but eliminating them will surely drive back the chaos. Kill the Chaos Acolyte in the forest. We accept that, and it'll show us where he's at. Alright, cool. Now, with that, I should probably explain what's going on up here. Up here we have the timeline. Every one of these blips is one round of turns for my characters. And eventually, as you see, the light goes into dark, we'll reach evening and night, and then the next day. And I'm not sure too much what happens beyond days, other than it's just the passage of time. But what you really need to be concerned about is the blips that have these little skull marks. That is when the chaos is going to increase. When the chaos increases, so does the enemy spawn rate and enemy health. When the chaos maxes out, a poisonous miasma takes over the realm, and every turn, all of your heroes take poison damage, and it's no fun. You have to start reducing the chaos pretty quickly. But what's really handy is even though the chaos hasn't procced yet, we can reduce the chaos that is on the timeline before it happens. So regardless of whether I end up taking too long and this chaos gets added, or in the next 3 turns I take care of that quest, this chaos blip will be the one that I take care of. And that's pretty handy. Over here we have life blips. It is highly likely that at some point one of the characters is going to die, and other characters can revive them so long as there's still life blips. Alright, what do we got left? Doc, get back to joining the team, Doc. Hood, it's time for you. There's a lot of like little beast dudes over here. Alright, you're gonna run over here. Check this out. It is a guarded treasure. Focus can be used in encounter rolls to boost your odds, yes. Of course, it is based on talent, which you are the least likely, but an 84% chance. It's pretty good. Get you a treasure chest. Use 2 focus for it, but 2 focus for a treasure chest is pretty decent, especially when I'm right next to a statue that can increase all of it, or replenish all of it if I need. A bunch of gold coins. Hag's Bane. Relieves curses. Collect. A lightning staff. Well, that'll be good for Doc. Let's collect that. A traveler hat. That's good for you. Why don't you equip that? Nice. Alrighty. Let's be cheeky and use both of our focus to get extra movement. Yeah. The game wanted to make sure I wasn't just accidentally double clicking. Then I'll tribute over here, get that 12 experience, and fill up my focus. One day your deeds will be celebrated. And then I'll step over here. Energy boost. Nice. Well, I'm actually just, I'm where I want to be, so I'll take that as a health. Ah, unlucky. Crap roll on all of it. Man, Smith. How you gonna do that? Alright, if you step here, I think that's close enough. What I want to do is I want to get in a fight with you and incorporate everybody. But that means now Doc has to be the quick runner over there. And he's not. Oh, there's a wolf. Alright, let's battle the wolf. Hood's not close enough to be in this battle, but it's just a wolf. Although it did just do 6 damage. Enemy info's up there. I've already explained all that. Maybe I should have waited for the tooltip because it's probably pacing it better. But, The tooltip also put it up at a point where it still doesn't matter. Alright, Scholar's Wort to get some experience. Now, I could use this right away, or I could wait till I upgrade my pipe and potentially have it be more useful. But, could be a while before I upgrade my pipe. You never know. Alright. I don't need the fight to happen that quickly, so I can pass off and wait for you to initiate it. But this fight is happening. 3 beastmen and the 3 of us. Bring it on! So you see how there's the 2 enemy armor here? That means that any physical damage will be reduced by 2. Using belt items, right. You can use any of these items on your belts, or not any, but you can use relevant items on your belt, and it doesn't take your turn, so if I really needed that health, I could use that. If I really need the evasion, if I really want the extra focus, etc., etc., etc. Alright. Let's try to hit you, and it'd be nice to ignore your armor, but it's not super important. Yeah! Boom! Ignore your armor. Oh, he's out for blood. Don't cause bleeding. Good, good. Okay. Now, you could blast him dead. That's magic damage, so his armor doesn't even affect it. Blam! You didn't even need the perfect. Ooh, that big 9 swing. Alrighty, alrighty. We are going to use this. Unlikely that you'll get a hit that'll do splash, but you might. Yeah, you didn't. 3 damage there. Dang, you were supposed to do at least enough that this would get him if it broke through the armor. Failure dance. Well, at least this will finish him out. Even if only 1 hits, that's all it needs. Alright. Chances are, between you and Hood, take him out before he gets a turn. Look at all these bones that just fly out of him. It's great. It's the greatest death animations. When you share gold, if it shares unevenly, the person who you click the share button on gets the extra. Alright, I think I want this. And I probably do want it on Hood. Get that heal, get that evasion on the character that uses it most. Alrighty, Smith. Over here we've got the glittering mines, but we don't have the key for it, so we can't go in there yet. That's okay though. Make our way down here. I'm gonna go take out this camp. We still need to go to Woodsmoke. That's our main quest still. We're just powering up, being kind of lazy about the main quest, exploring, seeing what there is to see out in the world. Yep, timeline's telling me about stuff. I kind of want to take care of things before that chaos goes up. It's a bit tricky. Let's slow walk over there, see if anything pops up. Bees! Ooh, a dark cave. Mini dungeons are short but cannot be escaped until they are cleared. Interesting. Level 1 mini dungeon? Now I'll just suck everybody in. Warning, dungeons can only be escaped by completing the entire dungeon. Understood. Excuse me. Well, what was this? Tell me about things. Dungeons of all shapes and sizes can be found throughout Fahrul. The difficulty of a dungeon is noted by the number above its name. When its hex is highlighted, the inter-party option allows every party member in the same realm to immediately enter the dungeon. Once entered, the only way out is to complete. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm aware of dungeons. It's pretty interesting for it to spawn one this early. The Glittering Mine is a dungeon, and something that's going to come up in the story eventually, and that's usually the first dungeon you hit. Well, I don't want to do this dungeon right away. We'll probably end up doing it very soon. Maybe next episode. We're going to be ending this episode pretty soon. Just got to get my characters down here. And maybe we'll fight some crows before the end of the turn. Get some extra energy, move a little closer. Let's see how close we can get Smith down there. Oh, we gotta fight this beastman as he snuck up on Smith. Get him. It's just a single beastman. He's dumb. He didn't bring armor. It wouldn't have mattered. Actually, it might have, because the percentage roll is different when I do the armor pierce. Steadfast. Now what caused that, I wonder? Steadfast is basically he got hit but he didn't take the damage. Ooh, a tattered robe. Oh yes, I forgot. You guys have goodies to give to people. You can give people in the same hex or one hex away. So give that tattered robe and that lightning staff to Doc. And he will equip it. And he will equip it. And he's more deadly. More powerful. Dire Crow Swarm. Let's, ooh, that guy's level 2. Let's retreat. Let's not do that. Let's step over here. And, if I fight this bee swarm, I'll probably have to fight the swamp flies. It's a bit of a bummer. Bees are pretty cool because they can drop honey when you kill them, and honey gives you a permanent buff to resistance, which makes me excited that there's items in this game that give permanent buffs to stats, because I always really like that. Anyway, this is a good place to end this first episode. In the next episode, we will be finding out what's going on with this question mark, taking out these Chaos Acolytes, probably take out this dark cave, and maybe finally make it to Wood Smoke. Anyway, see you guys later.